Welcome to AI World TV, your go-to destination for everything artificial intelligence. Discover the captivating landscape of AI, where advanced technology finds real-life application. Subscribe to AI World TV for webzine articles, reports, podcasts, videos, live events, and latest trends. Hear from top industry leaders and discover how AI is transforming industries and our daily lives.
Imagine sitting across from a hiring manager for your absolute dream job.
Yeah.
You're confident, right? You have your resume ready, prominently highlighting that expensive 4-year university degree you spent, half a decade paying off.
Yeah, that's a pretty familiar scenario for most people.
Right. But then the hiring manager glances at it, slides the paper aside, and says, I see the degree, but let me see the applied AI workflow certificate you earned for free on your laptop last weekend, because that's what we actually need.
I mean, it sounds like a totally provocative scenario, but we are watching that exact reality materialize in real time. The currency of the job market is fundamentally evolving.
Which perfectly brings us to the mission for today's deep dive. We are exploring a super fascinating April 27, 2026 article from the AI World Journal.
Right, by Sydney Armani.
Yes, Sydney Armani. It's titled The New Free AI Education Stack. And the core premise here is that the biggest gatekeepers in academia and tech are just completely dismantling the barriers to artificial intelligence education.
Completely tearing them down.
Yeah. And for you listening, this means the path from just casually using AI to becoming a formally credentialed practitioner is now wide open. And the crazy part, it doesn't cost a single dollar.
To really understand the magnitude of this, we have to look at the baseline Armani sets up in the text. I mean, we have moved so far past the era where AI was this fringe discipline reserved for elite software engineers toiling away in isolated university labs.
Oh, definitely.
It is a foundational literacy now. It dictates workflows in healthcare, finance, creative arts, logistics. You're expected to know how to navigate it, much like you're expected to know how to read or, send an email.
I look at it a lot like the early days of the internet. There was a time when using the internet meant you had to understand command line coding.
Oh, yeah, a nightmare for the average person.
Right, you had to type in complex text commands just to navigate a basic directory. But then the graphic web browser was invented, and suddenly my grandmother could click a button and be online.
We're experiencing that exact same leap with AI.
So the drawbridge is finally down.
Exactly. The technology isn't just getting smarter. The user interface for actually learning it has been completely overhauled. The transition from exclusive to radically accessible is the crucial point here.
Because historically, the barrier to entry was insane.
Brutally steep. You were looking at needing advanced graduate-level degrees in applied mathematics or computer science. You had to understand multivariable calculus to even grasp the basic premise of how a neural network adjusted its weights.
Math wizards only.
Basically, yeah. But now, those prerequisites are vanishing because the focus has moved from purely academic theory to intensely practical application.
And the people handing out the blueprints for this practical application aren't just, random tech bloggers on YouTube. We're talking about the heaviest hitters in the world.
You're right, the absolute biggest names.
The Ivy League is leading the charge here. Armani's article starts by looking at Harvard's approach to generative AI. And what's interesting is how aggressively Harvard is trying to demystify what people call the black box.
They want to strip away all that science fiction hype.
Because the hype is actively dangerous to effective implementation, isn't it?
It really is. When people don't understand the underlying mechanics of a tool, they tend to anthropomorphize it. They treat the AI like a conscious human brain sitting inside their laptop.
Which it is absolutely not.
No, not at all. Harvard's curriculum is designed to break that illusion immediately. They teach AI as what it mechanically is, which is a highly complex, probability-based mathematical model.
Let's break down what that probability model actually looks like in practice, because I think this is where the aha moment happens for a lot of people.
Sure.
When you type a prompt into an AI, it isn't thinking about the answer. It is mathematically calculating the most likely next token or piece of a word based on the billions of text documents it ingested during its training phase.
And understanding that mechanism is exactly how you understand AI hallucinations.
Right.
If the system is just optimizing for the mathematical probability of the next word, well, it doesn't inherently care about factual truth.
It just wants to finish the pattern.
Exactly. If, based on its training data, the most mathematically probable next word in a specific sentence structure is a completely fabricated statistic, the model will output that fabricated statistic with total confidence.
It doesn't know it's lying.
Right. Harvard grounds the learner in this reality, moving them from being passive consumers of AI to mechanics who actually understand the engine.
And once you understand that it's just a probability engine, you can start building guardrails, which is where Harvard moves from basic literacy into some pretty advanced real-world implementation. The article highlights their focus on RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation.
Conceptually, RAG is the perfect solution to the hallucination problem we just talked about.
How so?
Well, think of standard AI as taking a closed book test. It only knows the information it studied beforehand, which is its initial training data. So if your company updated its HR policies yesterday, the AI has no idea.
It's totally blind to it.
Right. If you ask it a question about the new policy, its probability engine will just guess or hallucinate based on the old data.
So RX turns it into an open book test.
That's a great way to look at it. RAG gives the AI a direct pipeline to a verified database. If you ask that same HR question, the RAG system first searches your company's secure internal drive, retrieves the PDF of the policy that was updated yesterday, and then feeds that specific text to the AI.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then the AI is forced to use its probability engine only on the verified document you just handed it.
It anchors the generation in factual retrieval.
Exactly.
I can absolutely see why learning how to design a workflow like that is infinitely more valuable to an employer than someone who just knows how to, write a clever prompt. And Harvard is teaching this architecture for free.
Free of charge.
Armani even notes they offer a curated YouTube playlist to help visual learners grasp these abstract concepts. And they have a dedicated module on teaching with AI for educators trying to adapt their own classrooms.
But understanding the architectural mechanics of the model is really only the first step. You also need the ability to format your own human problems so the machine can process them.
Right, which takes a different kind of discipline.
It does, and that brings us to the second pillar of this new education stack, Stanford University.
Okay, so if Harvard is explaining the generative architecture, Stanford is injecting the academic rigor.
Precisely.
Through their AI courses portal, they are offering deep dives into machine learning fundamentals. That covers the underlying logic of how machines learn from datasets and how foundational models are built and deployed. But the curriculum detail that really jumped out to me in the article is a concept they call applied computational thinking.
Applied computational thinking is arguably the most critical human skill in the modern digital economy.
Really, the most critical.
I'd say so. It is essentially training your brain to take messy, unstructured, real-world problems and break them down into rigid, logical formats. You're learning to think like a programmer without necessarily needing to write a single line of code.
Okay, let's put a concrete example to that, because computational thinking sounds a bit abstract. Imagine you're a logistics coordinator, and a massive storm just delayed 3 of your shipping containers.
A nightmare scenario.
Total nightmare. It's a messy, panic-inducing human problem. A normal person looks at that and thinks, everything is ruined, what do we do?
Right, but a computational thinker approaches that same panic by breaking it into discrete, programmable steps.
So step 1.
Step 1, identify the exact SKUs on the delayed containers. Step 2, cross-reference those SKUs with inventory in local, unaffected warehouses. Step 3, automatically draft alert emails to the specific clients expecting those SKUs.
Got it.
By structuring the problem logically, you've now created a workflow that an AI system can instantly execute. You basically translated human chaos into machine logic.
Okay, I have to jump in and play devil's advocate here for a second.
Sure.
Let's go back to that logistics coordinator, or maybe, I don't know, a marketing manager trying to write a campaign brief. If my ultimate goal is just to make my Tuesday afternoon a little easier, do I really need to spend my weekend taking Stanford courses on applied computational thinking and machine learning fundamentals? I mean, can't I just open an AI window, write an email to my delayed clients, and let the computer figure it out?
Well, you can, but that exposes the huge difference between being a tourist and being a local.
A tourist and a local.
Yeah, if you just type a vague prompt, you are a tourist in the AI ecosystem. You'll get an output, and it might even look okay at first glance. But when the system inevitably breaks, when it drafts an email offering a refund you aren't authorized to give, or when the tone is completely inappropriate for a crisis, the tourist has no idea how to fix the underlying prompt structure.
You are listening to the AI World Podcast, your trusted source for the latest innovations, insights, and trends in artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and decentralized technologies. Each episode features expert interviews, engaging discussions, and in-depth analysis of how AI transforms industries worldwide. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest articles and exclusive reports from the AI World Journal, covering everything from emerging technologies to industry breakthroughs. For more news, global events, and access to AI World Society circle gatherings, visit us at aiworld.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the AI revolution with AI World Lounge. Thank you for listening.
They are completely at the mercy of the machine.
So the deep academic understanding is fundamentally about control.
Exactly.
If you don't understand the logic pathways, the machine is kind of directing you instead of you directing the machine.
And employers know this. They don't want tourists running their critical infrastructure. This ties into the most vital part of Stanford's offering. They provide free, verified certificates upon completion of these courses.
Which is huge.
It's massive. In an aggressively competitive job market, a Stanford certificate proving you understand applied computational logic is a massive differentiator. It provides tangible, resume-ready proof of competence without the burden of traditional tuition.
And that perfectly sets up the third pillar of the stack Armani outlines. We have the mechanics from Harvard, we have the logical structure and credentialing from Stanford, but academic theory only gets you so far.
Right, eventually you have to do the work.
Exactly. At some point you have to close the textbook and actually operate the machinery on a daily basis. You need pure, real-world productivity.
Which brings us to Anthropic's Claude 101 course. Anthropic, the company behind the Claude AI model, built this course specifically for practical, immediate application.
So no deep math here.
No, it ignores the deep mathematics and focuses entirely on core features, advanced prompting techniques, and integrating AI into daily corporate workflows.
Armani uses a fantastic analogy in the article to describe how these three pillars interact. He says, if Harvard and Stanford teach you automotive engineering showing you how the probability pistons fire and how the machine learning aerodynamics work, Claude 101 teaches you how to drive the car.
It's the perfect analogy.
It puts you behind the steering wheel, shows you how to check your mirrors, and teaches you how to successfully navigate traffic to get to the grocery store.
And synthesizing those three pillars, Harvard, Stanford, and Anthropic, it really reveals a much larger transformation happening in global education.
Yeah, the article points out three big shifts, right?
Yes. Armani points out that this new stack represents three massive concurrent transitions in how society values knowledge. The first is the move from closed education to open access learning. The Ivy League moat has been entirely breached by the internet. The information is simply free.
Incredible. And the second transition?
The second transition is the move from theory-only education to applied workflows. You aren't sitting in a lecture hall memorizing the definition of a neural network just to pass a multiple-choice test.
Right.
You're actively building a customized or reg system to organize your specific company's messy internal files. The learning is instantly practically useful.
Which leads to the third transition, which I think is perhaps the most disruptive to the status quo. The evolution from credentials-first validation to skills-first validation.
Absolutely.
I want to spend some time on this because skills-first validation feels at the crux of why this matters to you, the listener. Traditionally, a credential like a 4-year computer science degree from a prestigious university acted as a proxy for skill.
Right, a very expensive proxy.
Exactly. Employers assumed that because you paid the tuition and sat through the 4 years, you probably knew how to do the job. The degree was the filter.
But the proxy is no longer necessary because the skill can be proven directly and immediately. Yeah, when you hold a free certificate from Stanford or Anthropic, and you can sit down at a terminal during an interview and build a functional, error-free automated workflow in 20 minutes, the traditional degree loses its leverage.
The proof is right there on the screen.
Exactly. These new platforms validate what you can actively do, not just where you studied. It totally levels the playing field for anyone willing to put in the hours, regardless of their financial background.
So if the modern worker has this entire stack available, the Harvard education, the Stanford credential, the Claude driving lessons, they are fully equipped. They have the keys to the car.
Oh.
But the final section of Armani's article asks a really crucial question. Where are we actually driving? what is the destination of all this education?
The destination is full-scale autonomous integration.
Sounds intense.
It is. The article introduces a platform called 101 AI World, which is described as an emerging, unified digital intelligence ecosystem. The whole philosophy driving this platform is usability. AI cannot just be an isolated browser tab you occasionally consult for ideas. It needs to be the underlying infrastructure of your work.
Which leads directly into the industry's major pivot toward agentic AI.
Yes, agentic AI is the frontier.
Let's break down the mechanics of an agent, because up to this point, our entire framework has been based on generative AI. And generative AI is conversational. I ask a question, it predicts the next words to generate an answer. I am still doing all the heavy lifting of managing the project.
Right, you're still the boss.
So what does this all mean? Are we talking about moving from a really smart answering machine to a full-blown digital employee that actually does the work for you while you sleep? An AI agent sounds like a completely different paradigm.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, yes, it is a fundamentally different paradigm. A generative model is a tool. An agentic model is a digital employee.
Mechanically, how does that work?
Mechanically, an agent is designed with a loop of autonomy. It perceives its environment, creates a multi-step plan to achieve a goal, executes the plan, evaluates the results, and corrects its own errors without human intervention.
Wait, without human intervention?
None. It takes actions across multiple software platforms all on its own.
Okay, give me a real-world scenario of an agent in action. Let's go back to the idea of running a small media business or a marketing agency.
Sure. With a standard generative model, you prompt it to write a video script. You take that script, open your email, send it to your team, wait for approval, open your calendar, schedule a recording time, record the video, open an editing software, and then manually upload the final file to your social media platforms.
Yeah, that's a normal Tuesday. I am the bottleneck at every single transition point.
Exactly. But with an agentic AI system,
Yeah, how does that change?
you give the agent a single high-level goal. You say, publish a new video campaign about our Q4 product line by Friday.
And that's it.
That's it. The agent looks at your calendar, schedules the recording block, drafts the script based on your previous top-performing content, automatically emails it to your compliance team for approval, tracks their response, edits the raw video file you drop into a folder, and uses an API to publish it to all your social media channels at the optimal time for audience engagement.
Oh my goodness. It moves from giving you a recipe to actually getting in the kitchen, chopping the vegetables, cooking the meal, and doing the dishes while you focus on something else entirely.
That is the ultimate democratization of scale. Platforms like 101 AI World are attempting to unify this entire process, providing the education stack to understand the logic and the agentic infrastructure to execute the work.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
Yeah.
When intelligence becomes embedded infrastructure, a single creative or a small logistics team can operate with the output, precision, and speed of an entire corporate department. It drastically reduces the learning curve while exponentially increasing the leverage of the individual.
It is truly staggering when you step back and look at the entire landscape we've mapped out today. Let's recap the core message for you listening. The infrastructure for universal AI literacy is now officially deployed, and it is accessible to anyone.
Absolutely anyone.
You have Harvard opening up the black box to teach mechanical probability and factual retrieval. You have Stanford offering rigorous training in applied computational logic and providing free, verified certificates. You have Anthropic teaching the everyday practicalities of driving the system through Claude. And you have platforms pushing us toward a future of autonomous agentic action.
The defining takeaway from Armani's piece is that the traditional gatekeepers are gone. The question we used to ask was who gets to access elite tech education?
Right.
That problem has been comprehensively solved. The only relevant question left for the individual is who will actually take the time to utilize it? The curriculum is world-class. The tools are waiting. The certificates are available to anyone willing to learn.
The path is totally clear. You just have to decide to walk it. But I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. Building on that concept of skills-first validation we dissected earlier.
It's a big one.
It is. We are looking at a world where Ivy League AI education is entirely free, and employers are increasingly prioritizing verified practical workflow certificates over traditional academic pedigree. If that trend continues accelerating, Well, sorry, let me rephrase that. If that trend continues accelerating, how long until traditional, heavily indebted four-year degrees in certain tech and knowledge work fields become entirely obsolete?
That's the real question.
If the hiring manager only cares about the free certificate you earned this weekend, why would anyone sign up for a mountain of student debt ever again?
The decentralization of education might end up being an even bigger disruption than the AI itself.
A massive structural change hiding in plain sight. It's definitely something to seriously consider the next time you or someone you know is planning out their educational future. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the new AI education stack. Keep questioning, keep learning, and we'll catch you next time.
The future of artificial intelligence is unfolding, and it's happening at AI World Week, the flagship global event for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This flagship global AI event is designed to connect visionary leaders, trailblazing entrepreneurs, and influential thinkers to explore the endless possibilities of AI. Experience groundbreaking technology that redefines industries and inspires progress. Join thought-provoking discussions on ethical AI, digital equity, and the transformative role of technology in our world. Build meaningful connections that catalyze innovation and drive impact. AI World Week is powered by AI World Society, a global movement dedicated to advancing AI responsibly and ensuring it serves humanity. Together, we're shaping a smarter, more inclusive, and equitable future. Continue your journey beyond the event with the AI World Journal, offering expert insights, in-depth analysis, and the latest trends shaping the AI landscape. This is your opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world with AI. AI World Week. We invite you to join us and embrace the AI revolution.